last but certainly not least for me, we got his Life is Strange Double Exposure. And this game was a big old mixed bag for me. And
Ooh.
most of the people who played it apparently. It has a 4 out of 10 from the audience score on Metacritic. But it has like a
Yikes.
79% from like critics. But I
Mm-hmm.
think the audience score really shows how people really like this game.
They're feeling about it, yeah.
So the first 3 episodes are pretty good, but it all falls apart in the last two. Um, Things escalate way too fast, and the powers become
Mm-hmm.
way too central to the plot, almost like it's a superhero story, which Life is Strange has never been that. I feel like Deck 9 has lost the plot, and it's so disappointing because the last game, True Colors, was really good. I really liked that game. They gave the main character powers that seemed lame on paper in True Colors, but did wonders for the story. She could
Mm-hmm.
she could absorb and manipulate the strong emotions of others, and that left the
Right.
player with very interesting choices to make. And early on in Double Exposure, they used the powers as a tool to solve puzzles and facilitate interesting character moments and interactions, like in the previous games. But as the story goes on, the scale grows far too large. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the game also regresses in terms of gameplay and level design in comparison to True Colors, in my opinion. In True Colors, you could freely explore a neighborhood in a small town the character lives in, and you could even do some side quests. And that felt like a natural progression to the Life is Strange formula that I would have loved to see them expand on, but instead they just dropped it. And
Mm-hmm.
Double Exposure takes place on a small college campus, and there's a map in the quad of the campus that where you can see every major location is really close together. So it makes you wonder, like, why didn't they go back to the semi-open world formula and instead go with the just you go from one place to another place? I don't know why they reverted like that when they very much could have done what they did with True Colors. But also the levels just I feel like they feel even more repetitive than they do in the first game, and they get
Mm.
real old real fast. And yeah,
Oh, dang.
I also feel like the level design just they don't do a good job of telling you about the small stuff that you can do in each of the areas. But I feel like that also might have just been a problem of the series overall, and they need to get better about that. So that you don't miss
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the small stuff around the world that kind of expands on everything. Um, Now the story. Now without spoiling anything, the story starts off strong with a classic murder mystery. The plot synopsis reads as such: When Max Caulfield finds her friend Safi dead in the snow, she tears open the way to a parallel timeline. Here, Safi is still alive and still in danger. With her new powers to shift between two timelines, can Max solve and prevent the same murder? And that's an interesting premise. Um,
For sure.
but they push it way too far toward the end, and it gets unnecessarily messy. But I can't say too much about that aspect without spoiling it. This game
Mm-hmm.
just it starts so strong, but slowly but surely falls apart towards the end, and it's just super disappointing. Um,
Dang.
like yeah, I was just like, damn, we're going back to Max. I'm so excited, and it was good at first, and then towards the end, I was like, oh, okay. Um, yeah, a few small things before we wrap up. So in the
Mm.
settings, you can activate trigger warnings for various different things, and that's cool.
Oh,
That's real cool. I feel like that's a
yeah,
cool accessibility feature that more games could use. Um,
for sure.
the two love interests in this game aren't great. One is kind of boring,
Oh.
and the other is a bit of an asshole. But
Mm-hmm.
I've romanced both of them in each
Mm-hmm.
timeline. So one in one timeline and one in the other timeline. And unfortunately, the outcome of that wasn't very interesting either. And I'm like, come on,
Dang.
it was unfortunate. A lot of people were upset at the way they handled the choice surrounding Chloe from the first game, but it doesn't bother me that much, honestly, because like, what did you expect them to do? Just have Chloe be there when there's a whole nother
Right.
version where Chloe, like, some people killed her, some people didn't. Like she couldn't be there.
How you?
It wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Essentially, so in my game, I was selfish. I murdered everyone for my
Mm.
blue-haired girlfriend. Um,
Type
and
shit.
uh, yeah, so I chose like there's a choice you make at the beginning that's very clever. I think that has you choose between those again. And I was thinking
Mm-hmm.
like, her being dead would be more interesting, but I want to be true to what I did, so I chose the one where she's alive, and the town got destroyed. So, um, yeah, they broke up, and a lot of people aren't a fan of that. And I'm like, what did you expect? She destroyed her. She basically killed Chloe's mother.
Right.
Like I get that why they're not together. Like I hope that Chloe shows up again at some point, but like
right,
because there's a chance they could do that for reasons I don't want to spoil. But I mean, multiverse shenanigans. But I understand why she didn't show up in this game. But you see like text messages. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little jealous because it seemed like her and Victoria were flirting a little bit, and like on their equivalent of Twitter. I was like, hold on now, Victoria, step back, calm down.
Step back.
That's my ex, but stop this.
But like still,
that's my ex, but it's still my girl.
The wound is still fresh.
Yeah. It was fun for the most part. It's just towards the end it got real weird. I want to hope they don't. They're not going to give up because Life is Strange is still pretty popular. So like, hopefully they hear this feedback and go in a different direction than the end of the game made it seem like they were going, because nobody wants them to do what they were doing. I won't say too much because I want to spoil it, but like, for the love of everything holy, do not go in the direction that it looks like you're going. Everybody and their mother is telling them not to. I hope that they actually listen to us and don't continue with this bullshit. But yeah, I hope they just go back to doing stuff similar to True Colors versus what they did here. And it's unfortunate that Max's return is tainted like this, because I was so excited. Was it the original studio that made Life is Strange, which they aren't the ones working on this anymore? That's Don't Nod. Don't Nod made the first 2 games. Did Don't Nod make Life is Strange 2? I actually don't know. Could you look that up?
I couldn't tell you. Yeah, I can look it up though.
I'm pretty sure they made Before the Storm, or maybe they didn't. Maybe that was also.
Yeah, Don't Nod made Life is Strange 2.
Who made Before the Storm?
Deck 9.
Yeah, Deck 9. Yeah, I think Deck 9. That was the first one they worked on. Was and I want to play that one because I haven't played Before the Storm. I watched people play it, but I haven't played it myself. I heard it's good.